Barry Barger joins us now, BetUS.com. Again, use promo code SICK'EM125. You can see it right over my left shoulder. Promo code SICK'EM125 or promo code SICK'EM200 if you want to use crypto. 125% bonus or 200% bonus, one of the many great incentives that BetUS has. But Barry, I know this is a general question, and we have other things to talk about, but the Big Ten, the Pac-12, and the ACC are apparently going to announce a scheduling alliance as it comes forward. Are you seeing a lot of action on conference realignment type bets, like where teams might wind up or what might be the next move? Like, is that a futures bet or a prop bet that's going on right now?
This is crazy, isn't it? Yeah, that's something that we will have up right now. It's just such a mess. There's so many rumors and so many people, trying to figure out this realignment. Now that the SEC's, once you just take everybody in the top 20 SEC, you almost got them now. Once Oklahoma and Texas get there, we will have those. Right now, we have it like for teams to go to a certain conference and stuff like that. You looking for, because I'll try to get all that stuff up this week.
Yeah, because it's interesting to hear, because the gambling world's kind of usually a step ahead of everybody else because of how you guys, like what you have to do and the kind of information, the circles you got to swim in. For the gambling world to be even confused about it, it's got to be it's a little disconcerting for people in Big 12 country. And that if Vegas doesn't know, hell, nobody knows.
Right. Book's got to be a step ahead. Otherwise, those wise guys will step right in there and just take you down. So it's got to be real solid information and information up front ahead of everybody else. The books are supposed to have that before anybody, but that's not always the case. So, if you know something, jump on it. If you've got an in on a school and it's like, man, this is like looking like 80%, this is going to happen, then look for the line and get on it. If you get the info first, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Win. Just win, baby.
Absolutely, Barry. So I'm curious, looking at this season for the Big 12, are you seeing, is there one team that has been especially targeted in the Big 12 that you're seeing, man, it looks like they're expected to win much more games than they're projected, or even people taking the under as well?
Well, no, everybody's firing on Oklahoma. I think your chance still is Iowa State, if you're looking for somebody to bet that hasn't quite adjusted, because that's the team that has a chance to challenge Oklahoma. They split last year. I think they played twice, and they split. And I think they play like on October 20th or something like that. But Iowa State, like, as far as the teams that it's still settling. So this is a good time to get in on a lot of this stuff. Like I tell people, going on, if we were to talk about the top, the top rankings, is Georgia. Look at they're 5-1 now to win the national championship, and with Alabama, they lost I think 7 offensive starters, including their quarterback, obviously, and they Georgia has 20 or 22 returning starters. And if Dallas is going to win, Alabama's going to have to win with D. And they probably have the best defense in the country. But if you're looking to speculate and looking for a chance to take them down, and Georgia is really, really a good bet all the way around. Because right now they're projected to win their SEC division by 2.7 games. Alabama's projected to win it by 2.2 games. So it'll be those two in the final, in the conference final. But Georgia, they got JT Daniels, a great quarterback. They've got a good defense. They've got everything it takes, and they've been right there. And this is, I hate to say the year to bet against Alabama, because really you should never do it unless you're sure, because they just reload that thing, obviously. But this is the year where their offense could be lacking. You got a bunch of guys playing that haven't played together like for years, like Georgia does. And but with Bama's stellar D, they'll probably get it done. But at 5-1, I would expect Georgia to be like 3.5-1. And opening week against Clemson. That line's already come down to, I think Clemson's 3 now. They were 3.5. And I think the money line on Georgia is a good bet there because, and then after that, Georgia doesn't play anybody. I mean, they're going to, if they can win that game, they're going to go to the conference championship undefeated. So, but back to the Big 12, Iowa State's what I see. Oklahoma's just, you're paying too much. It's a tough bet at minus 220 to win the Big 12 championship. And for those who don't know how the minuses work, when you have minus on something, it's based on 100. So minus 220 would be 220 to win 100. If it was plus 220, like Iowa State's plus 250, it's 100 to win 250. It flips, if that makes sense. I know some people ask about how the money lines work on that stuff sometimes, but Oklahoma, you got to put up more than twice the money you're going to win just to win the Big 12 championship. So it's, you want to tie that money up, and then it's just being smart better, trying to get the best line and trying to get it before it moves in the way you think it will. And that's why when I talk about Georgia, I think that line's going to move down to probably to win the national championship, probably 4-1 before they play Clemson. If they beat Clemson, it'll be down to probably plus 250, probably 2.5 to 1.
Barry, I did want to ask just a question about Georgia really quick, just because, they did receive news. They have 2 injuries that came out 2 days ago. Right. Tyke Smith, their starting safety, the transfer from West Virginia, and Darnell Washington, the tight end. And they've also been dealing with George Pickens has been hurt, Dominic Blaylock. They've had a lot of injuries. Are you seeing, is that maybe a reason why it's still low right now?
Yeah, it is. That's what's keeping it there. But I expect it to. I expect once you see him play, and this is still semi-speculation, but being in this business as long as I have, and watching where the opportunities come, and that still looks like a great opportunity. They've still got, these major teams, all these guys that are in the top 5 every year, Georgia, Bama, Clemson. I mean, they've got guys backed up that are backups. They'd be starting for any other college in the nation. So it's not like they're going to scrubs when they have to go down the line. Some of these guys, obviously, you can't get to the level, but it's, you got good coaching. You got, it's adjusting, and it's filling those holes when you have to replace someone who's a superstar and trying to, get stronger around that guy or figure out how to limit your downside when you have to put in a player that's maybe not elite. But yeah, that's something to always keep and that's one thing. It's like research. And on our site, on BetUS, we've got something called the Locker Room that has articles on basically every football game, every conference, what to bet. It's real information. I write for that sometimes. I've been writing for it for years. And it's not just fluff out there. These are real writers with real knowledge. So I would always maximize your information. And like if you're betting, say first week that Alabama's, I think, minus 19 or whatever, Miami, and something like that, I would say if you're betting Alabama, bet them now. But if you're betting Miami, wait, because everybody bets Alabama, public use. So you can expect that line to go up the closer it gets to game time. So it's being smart a little bit that way, if you know what I mean. Like the popular teams, the closer it gets, the more the line's going to move toward, that way. It's going to show all that money going down on like Alabama or like the Cowboys, the main teams. It's the same teams basically every year. Cowboys not as much as they used to be, but this year getting a lot of money on them since Dak is back and Ezekiel's looking super fit. And, we've got all that. Not to get off the college thing, just saying in general, like on all that stuff. Do your research. It makes a big difference. You want to get best line, best research, make smart plays. Because, you in it to win it, right?
Yeah, that's right. BetUS.com, by the way, Barry Barger with BetUS, and use our promo code SICK'EM125 and SICK'EM200. If you use crypto, I still don't understand how crypto works, so I don't think I'll be using that.
Do it. 200, that's 200% is great. Yeah. I would say everybody use. use crypto. Figure it out. It's not that hard. Figure it out and do it. They've made it easier to use crypto where these days, just look it up. I'm telling you, to get that much more extra as a bonus to start off, that's free money. I mean, get it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're going to open an account for $100 and get $300, I think that's a pretty darn good deal, Barry. I mean, I went to Florida State, so I don't have to be good at math, but 100, 200, like those things are easy for me if we keep it in round numbers. But,
right.
What is the, like you mentioned Alabama and Miami, that's 1 in 14 ranked in the country, but to a lot of people around the country, I mean, it's a big name, 2 big name schools, but, do you see people if you want to bet on Miami, you want that line to grow, right? You want people to like put money on Alabama and that 19 to go to like 28 or something like that. I mean, it's probably not going to get that high, but
you bet.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. And that's why I'm saying wait, because like I said, if you want to bet Alabama, bet it now because it's going to go up. It's going to go to 21. And if you want to bet Miami, it's wait till it looks closer to game time. I mean, if you could get 21 and a hook, 21 and a half, that'd be great because that's a big difference off 19. You know, that's a major point to get to, and so it comes in smart timing. Smart timing that comes into play like that too, and some of these top teams, first week too, you've got a bunch of. I'm not saying to bet against Alabama because as a practice, that's probably not going to do you good. But they've got a lot of new guys playing together. It's the first game of the season. I mean, that's always the chance. And rivalries, you never know. With Miami, as long as they haven't partied too much, those players, they might show up. You never know what you're going to get with them.
Yeah. Look. Yeah. Look, just as a Florida State fan, the worst sports memories of my life have to do with Miami. So I'll have to go.
Oh, my God.
I'll have to call my therapist.
I grew up as a Cornhusker. Cornhusker, so same here. Actually, Florida State, I hate both you guys. Florida State and Miami used to win.
Yeah. Well, Smokey, our other co-host, will be back next week. He's been off the last couple of Fridays, but he is a big Cornhusker fan. So he's in it with you. Like he's, you guys will get along well.
Well, hopefully Scott Frost isn't fired by then, or they, get some probation stuff. I mean, Baylor. What a bunch of crap they had to go through. Like, took them 5 years, and then they just got, to deal with that. And then they really didn't get much laid down on them, which is good. But to have 5 years how does it take 5 years to figure that out? Well, how do you do that to the university?
We talked about it a lot, Barry. And you know what's strange about it is like the NCAA realized that there wasn't much they could do about the terrible sexual assault scandal that happened here because that's not under their purview. And then they spent all this other time finding out what they could do. And then once they did, they were like, oh, well, that's not.
Is that right?
It's not really that bad. Boy. I mean, like, and that's I think a lot of people, think about, okay, they're going in, like they start investigating one thing and then realize they can't really do that much about it. And then, like, well, we're here, we'll see what else is going on because a lot of times when there's one bad thing going on, there's several bad things going on. Well, it turns out that was that was bad enough for all of it. And so, they come down to it and they're like, well, a kid cheated on a quiz and a coach knew about it. I mean, like, they.
Wow. See, that's so wrong for them to go, well, we're here anyway. It's like, no, you were wrong. You screwed up to begin with. Go on. Yeah. Why, it's like the NCAA is not the best organization.
No.
Obviously. I mean, they're a mess.
It's why they're falling apart, Barry.
Exactly. Well, soon we'll have 12 teams in the playoff, right? In another few years, allegedly. We'll see if that happens. Yeah. I don't know how they're going to, $2 billion more in revenue they're projecting. I mean, I'm sure they're thinking about the revenue before they think about organization, what it's going to take, and so it's going to be another messy deal, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but NCAA, that's not a good organization.
I'm sure you've seen it in your professional life a lot. A lot of times people will say like, "Hey, we have this much money," and then somebody will be like, "Well, just give it to me. I'll figure it out later." And then, I mean,
right?
Yeah, that's kind of what's happened with the NCAA. Look, I'll take the money. Don't worry. Don't worry about the details. We'll figure it out. You trust me, right? Come on. Money. And
we'll figure it out. Yeah, just go. Yeah, cash. Transfer. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
And it's like, okay, now we can slow roll. We got the transfer. Everybody slow roll. Roll mode.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, Barry Barger, BetUS.com. Go to BetUS.com. Use promo code SICK'EM125 or SICK'EM200 for crypto. 200% bonus on crypto, 125% on cash. Barry, we'll talk to you again next week. Thanks a lot, man.
You betcha, man. I was going to say one more thing is the live betting. We got live betting on everything, including golf, too, which is awesome. I know everybody likes takes on that. So thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Barry. That's Barry Barger, BetUS.com here on SICK'EM 365 Radio.